All right. Hello and welcome everybody to your next episode of Cal Cairo Live. I'm Dr. Phil. Thanks for joining us. We are about to give away or try to give away some money today here. We've got $600 to give away on today's live stream. In addition, if you've been paying attention and you're a new practitioner, we have 7 scholarships to the PI for All conference. I don't know, maybe we can put up the form if there's any new practitioners just joining us. They want to enter their name into the form. There's a form that we had put out basically to make sure we had a separate drawing for all of the new practitioners, but that is going to be exciting here towards the end of the broadcast today. Like I said, we do have our PI for All conference coming up June 20th. It's going to be in Huntington Beach. It's setting up to be something special, I can tell. We are just coming off of our pediatric symposium in Shell Beach, the Pismo area. That was nothing short of spectacular. We had a great time there, over 80 people in attendance, incredible venue, room block completely sold out. So if you weren't able to join us this year, I think I'm going to start making plans to already bring it back for next year. So make sure you get on that as soon as possible. You know, it's certainly one of those things that you have to act on in a fast fashion. But thanks to everybody who came out for that. It was a lot of fun. We also, we'll talk about fall conference maybe towards the end. But everybody that's been tuning in for the broadcast should know that we have our fall conference coming up August 28th. That's going to be at the Disneyland Hotel. Again, incredible room block. You're not going to be able to get into the Disneyland Hotel for this kind of price in the future or without having a special event for this, like this kind. So make sure you get in on that room block before it gets sold out. That's going to be a really cool event as well. So I do want to get on with today's presentation because we got a lot of content to cover. Today's guest is Matt Warner. Here he is. Matt, how you doing from the Lead Effect? I am super stoked to talk to Matt. He has got some incredible content. I've had the opportunity to get a little bit of a sneak peek on the content. So Matt, why don't you just introduce yourself briefly before we get going and tell us who you are, how you got into this business and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, my name is Matt Warner, and I'm principal consultant at Lead Effect, which is short for Leadership Effectiveness. And we basically help CEOs, executives, or leaders of teams transform their team or their organization. And we use a lot of Patrick Lencioni's material.
Yeah.
In fact, we'll be going through one of his probably most popular books called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And I'll be putting a little bit of a positive spin on it. I'll be talking about the 5 behaviors of a cohesive team, which is really a fancy way of saying, what are the behaviors of a high-performing team? And so that's what we'll kind of dive in today. And I got into this work because, well, I've actually gone through several of Patrick's books in different environments. I was part of a tech sales team and in some nonprofit teams, and I've just seen how his material really helps. And so I just started this a couple of years ago, and I'm loving it and really excited to present it today.
I'm super stoked, man, because like I said, you gave me the opportunity to kind of preview the content. I love the spoiler alert. We're going to talk about healthy conflict. I love the concept of being lovingly confrontational. That was something that was taught to me a long time ago. And, you know, when we were just chatting about how you got into this business after being in the tech world and being part of teams, that sounded eerily similar to how I got into chiropractic. I was 26 when I went back to chiropractic school. And, but certainly I think this career is going to stick for me now. I've been at it almost 20 years.
Yeah, right.
Well, let's get on with it. Let's get the material up on the, go ahead and share your screen on the slideshow. We'll get going because I want to hear what you have to say and I want everybody else to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, hopefully we can do this the right way.
There we go. We dialed it in, man. It's a good thing we did a preview before we started. So
There we go. Okay, cool.
fire away. If I have questions, I'll stop you, or I'll try to maybe I'll raise my hand or whatever you need me to do.
Right. Okay. So so we'll talk about the 5 behaviors of a cohesive team. And here we go. Oh, is the slide not working? Here we go.
Yeah, it was working. Hit share again.
Oh, sorry guys.
That's all right. We're real time. This is a.
Let's do that again. Here we go.
This is the family podcast, the Cal Cairo family podcast. Okay, you're good. Your slides are up.
All right, nice. Okay, so let me see if here we go. Now they're working. All right, so everything we're going to be talking about today is really all these behaviors are designed so that you would get the results that you are looking for. Now, when we say that, that's just kind of a fancy way of saying that you would experience the best version of why you exist as a practice. Now, for most practices, this has something probably to do with money and numbers, but all of these behaviors that we're going to be talking about are really designed to build towards you getting the best results. Now, the foundation of all this is built on this word trust. And maybe, Phil, the first time you heard this, or maybe if you're listening right now, you might be thinking, well, duh, of course a team has to trust each other. But a lot of times when we think about trust, and I don't know if you think about it this way, Phil, but a lot of times we think about it in terms of predictive trust. Like, oh, I know Phil, he's a great guy. You know, we don't even need to call his references. Let's just hire him, get the paperwork done. Let's bring him on board.
Okay.
That's only one type of trust. The trust that actually high performing cultures or companies have, or cohesive teams, is different. It's called vulnerability based trust. And this is where it's just safe enough to say what really needs to be said in the moment. So you know that your team has vulnerability based trust if you start to hear things like, I'm struggling, or I need help, or hey, you're better than that than me. Can you show me how you did that? Or hey, I need to apologize to you. What I said back there, I said that with an edge. If you can have that kind of communication, what we call vulnerability-based trust, it really helps the organization realize that like people are going to be real. And the reason why this is important, because, and Phil, you and I talked about this the other day, sometimes teams can struggle with trust.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it. It's kind of this fancy psychological term called the fundamental attribution error. And the quickest way to describe this is there's a human tendency that we all have that if we see someone's behavior, we can make assumptions about their character or their intent without knowing the whole context of the whole story. So the classic example of this is if we're driving on the freeway and someone cuts you off, immediately we have a lot of thoughts about that person, that they're reckless, that they're a narcissist, that they're self-absorbed, that they're kind of person that would like to kick puppies. We might even have a hand motion to go, with that moment. However, if we cut someone off on the freeway and they don't, and they don't respond well, we have a lot of different ways that we respond typically. It's like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you, or I'm in a hurry, or wow, you've got some anger management issues. You need to go get some help, right? See, what happens is we are very quick to judge someone else's character or their intent, all the while we would never judge our own character or our intent as harshly as we do other people. And this can happen in the work environment as well. Someone shows up late to a meeting and we can quickly think, you're not that organized, or I wish you were more bought in, or I wish you could control your schedule more. We have all these thoughts, right? If we come late to a meeting, we're like, man, if you had my life, you'd be late too, right? Like it's so easy to do this. And so each of these behaviors, Phil, I'll give like a leader tip. And so the leader tip here, and this doesn't just apply to the leaders, but to anyone really, the way that you avoid falling into the fundamental attribution error is you're constantly investing in the relationships of the people you work with. And this doesn't mean you have to spend crazy amounts of time with them, but really you get to know them. You find out their past, where they're from, what they've accomplished, what they've overcome in their life, what their hopes and dreams are. And as soon as you start to get to know people, especially what they've overcome in their life, it really can help you from falling into this fundamental attribution error.
Oh, I love that concept, Matt. I'm thinking about like the Cal Cairo organization. Like this is good information for us as an organization too, and that kind of thing. So, all right, well, let's. If we touched on all the points, let's go to number 2.
Yeah. So these all build on each other. So the reason why you need this trust is because the next part of this is you want to have healthy conflict. So high performing cultures have healthy conflict, but if you don't have that level of trust, this vulnerability-based trust, it'll be really hard to have healthy conflict. Now, depending upon your family of origin, this might be a really loaded word or phrase for you.
Sure.
What we're really talking about here is positive ideological conflict. Can you get all the ideas on the table? The good ideas, bad ideas, half-baked ideas, creative ideas. You want to get all the ideas on the table, because when you do that, it often will lead to a great discussion, and great discussions lead to great decisions.
Okay.
So what we've noticed in our work is a lot of times there's not enough conflict on a team. They're not pushing back enough on ideas. And so teams that can do this avoid a lot of pitfalls. And one of those, if you're not able to say what needs to be said in the meeting, what happens is there's what we call artificial harmony, where people are nodding their heads, yeah, I'm in agreement. But inside they're thinking, there's no way this is going to work, or I'm not that bought in, or I might try it, but I'm not going to give it my best, right? That's artificial harmony.
Yeah.
You can have healthy conflict. It'll also help you avoid what I call the meeting after the meeting. And this is where, you lead a meeting, you think everyone's on board, but there's all these other meetings that take place. Phil, where do you think some of those other meetings take place? Name one spot.
Well, yeah, certainly at the water cooler. If it's something I need to keep discussing, can you please come to my office?
Yeah. They often happen in the hallway, the water cooler, someone else's office. They'll happen in the parking lot or on the phone on the drive home, from work, right? There's all these other meetings. So teams that are able to do healthy conflict, they avoid all these meetings after the meetings. And the reality is this is one of the behaviors that most teams struggle the most with. And there's a reason for it. A lot of times people don't get out of bed being super excited about getting into conflict with people. But here's an easy way to kind of break this down to make it seem not so intimidating. Is it's helping people realize the difference between these two words, nice and kind. So Phil, if I put you on the spot here, how would you describe the difference between nice and kind?
Well, kind might be in your actions. I'd say kind probably is kind. I think of kindness in terms of my actions and my words, I guess.
Yeah. Like if someone is like talking to you, at the line in the grocery store, you can be nice and keep the conversation going.
Sure.
The way we like to describe it as kind means you care enough about the person, the team, or the organization to speak the kind truth in real time.
Okay.
So a lot of times teams will hold back. They're afraid that they speak the kind truth in real time, they'll be perceived as mean or overly critical or harsh. But high performing cultures are able to realize, no, it's okay to speak the kind truth in real time. Now, the tone matters, how you say it, when you say it, all those things matter. But teams that do this well, they realize we need to say the hard thing occasionally. That will come up. We can't avoid that. Now, the reason why this is important is because these build on each other. If you can't have healthy conflict, then you won't have what I call like active commitment. You'll have what's passive commitment. And this is where you give a charge like, hey, this is where we're going. This is the direction we're going as a company. And everyone's kind of like, You need to be able to have healthy conflict so people can, if they're not bought in, they can push back and say, hey, what about this? And the other part about commitment that's really important is, you may not always agree on the decision, let's say the leader makes or the company makes, but whatever that decision is, you need to commit to it, which means you're not going to throw people under the bus later. You're not going to say, well, I didn't vote that way, but Phil kind of persuaded everyone to vote that way. And that's not what cohesive teams do. If they don't think a decision is a good one, they'll bring it up in the meeting, but they won't throw people under the bus later. They'll just say, hey, here's the direction we're going. We made this decision. We're moving that way.
Right.
And so here's the hard part. Sometimes for the leader has to be aware that if there's not this commitment, the leader has to figure out why. The leader has to be willing to say, hey, I'm sensing we're not fully bought in. Why is that? The other thing too that leaders can do that will really help is the leader needs to make sure before the meeting ends that everybody's clear on all the decisions that were made in that meeting. So that way, like, nobody leaves the meeting with this sense of, I didn't think we decided on that. It's the leader's job to make sure, hey, we're all clear on what we decided, right? And sometimes, we'll describe this with teams that we work with as the exit row rule. So if you get on a plane and you're like me and you want a little extra leg room, you sit in that exit row. And the flight attendant, what will they make you do before you take off? Phil, I'm sure this has happened for you. What do they make you do?
Oh, make sure you buckle your seat, bring your chair back up,
But if you're in the exit row, they'll make you verbally affirm that open that door if needed, right? And so, like, leaders that want to make sure there's active commitment will actually make sure that they have a conversation with their team. Like, hey, here, like, we want to make sure everyone's in agreement on what we decided.
So let me ask you a question then. If you're not getting active commitment and you are feeling the artificial harmony, what's the steps to resolve that? Or is that another webinar that we need to do later down the road?
Well, so each of these behaviors, when we work with a team, we do like a deep dive in them, but that's a really good question. And it's a thoughtful question. Typically that means that there may need to be some more trust that's built in, or some more vulnerability-based trust if people don't feel like they can be honest. But your question actually brings up a really good tip for leaders when it comes to conflict. When you're leading meetings and you notice someone's being really quiet, it's not a bad idea for the leader or someone on the team to say, hey, I noticed you're being really quiet. Do you have any thoughts? What are you thinking right now? Because you normally bring some really good ideas to the table. What are you thinking right now? You want to mine for the conflict. You almost want to ask if people have different thoughts, because sometimes if there's too much artificial harmony, people will be silent and they won't speak up. So the leader sometimes has to pull it out of them. And then the other thing that leaders can do is, as soon as there's some good conflict pushing back on ideas, the leader should do a quick timeout and say, hey, this is great. Please keep doing this. We need to do this as a team because it'll just make us better. So sometimes the leader has to affirm when there is a conflict or when they are pushing back on ideas, and that'll help the team realize, oh, this is actually what we want to do.
I love that concept of mining for the conflict. Okay.
Yeah. And then
I got a lot of notes here already, man. I'm going to have to get some more paper.
So the next behavior is on accountability. And a lot of times when we think about accountability, we think about it as it relates to performance. Like, I know, Phil, you and others listening, they have teams, right? And they have people that they're paying to do their job and to do it well. But a lot of times what we've noticed is that behaviors precede performance. So, and we see this the easiest with athletes, right? Like, if an athlete is struggling, it's usually related to a behavior. They didn't sleep enough the night before a game. They're not studying the playbook. They're not watching their diet. They didn't take the off season seriously. They're not working on a skill set that they need to improve on. And so it's usually related to a behavior. Behaviors precede performance. And so what high performing teams are able to do is be really honest with each other about the behaviors that are helping the team and the behaviors that are not helping the team. They can be honest with each other. And we do some exercise when we work with teams to help with this. And I'll just share it real quickly. I know we don't have a ton of time, but one of the exercises we do is, let's say, Phil, you're in the hot seat, and let's say you're the leader. So we always recommend the leader goes first, being vulnerable first. So everyone goes around and shares what's a behavior or characteristic that you do that really helps the team. And so everyone goes around and shares. And then we go the other way around after everyone's gone. What's a behavior or characteristic that Phil could work on that would help the team more? Now that's a little scary, right? Especially for everyone. And if you're the boss, right? It's a little scary for everyone. So after everyone goes, we tell them, take a deep breath. But what's crazy about that, Phil, is usually you as a leader and everyone else, because everyone else gets to do that exercise too. You rarely hear anything that you're completely shocked about.
Yeah.
It's usually something that your spouse told you, or you heard before another job, or you had a feeling sometimes you show up to work that way. You rarely hear something that you're completely shocked by. And the reason this exercise is so powerful is because it often helps teams see that what they once thought was the big, scary monster in the closet being really honest about behaviors isn't so hard to actually do after all. And it's a really simple exercise, but it's very powerful for teams to do. So
I love it, Matt. That's some great advice. So
yeah.
All right. Well, did you have any other slides to share with us today?
I wanted to show people, if they're interested in maybe taking a next step, one of the tools we use is what we call a team assessment exercise. And I'll just go through it really fast, but it actually is a way for you and your team to actually see, how are we doing with these different behaviors? Is there an area that we could work on? So I'll just kind of go through it really quick, but like you and your team, you take the report and it just shows you, based on those different behaviors, how do you score with those? So that's what you're seeing here, green, red, and yellow. Obviously, the ones that most teams struggle with are accountability and conflict. That's super normal, by the way.
Sure.
But we go through the report, and it's a really good conversation for the team, because you can look at, well, how are we doing with trust? How are we doing with conflict? How are we doing with commitment and accountability? And then we get into and results, but then also we get into what we call these team culture questions. Like, what would it look like for us to build stronger trust? What would it look like for us to master conflict? What could we do to improve in our commitment or to embrace accountability? It's really a great thing for teams to go through. You can look at your results, but it really helps teams kind of see more clearly, oh, you know what, there's something we can work on here. And then we come alongside those teams and give them some practical tools. I've been a part of teams that have done this, and it's been so healthy and good for the team to do this.
Now, how does someone take that assessment?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can take it as a team. Just go to tablegroup.com and you can just pay for it. It's $56.50 per person. I can help you go through that process too. And I can meet with the team as well, just to kind of debrief and give you tips and pointers. Typically when we do this with teams, we kind of have a half a day or a whole day around it. But if a team just want to do it really fast, that's one way they could do, is they could just go to the website and you can get the assessment that way.
Excellent. Well, I don't know if you want to share any other ways that people can get in touch with you, or how do you want people to connect with you?
Contact info, yeah. So Matt, .warner@leadeffect.org. You got my cell number there too, and would be happy to talk to anyone if you just got questions or just want a sounding board. Happy to help in any way I can.
Yeah, this was some great content, man. I really appreciate you being on and supporting our broadcast and that kind of thing. I feel like we got to dive a little deeper, so I might start looking into how do we do a webinar or something like that.
Yeah. A lot of this, we could spend a lot more time on each of the behaviors, but I'd be happy to do that.
Excellent. Well, if anybody wants to connect with Matt, you know how to get a hold of him now. If I could have you unshare your screen, I have a couple of housekeeping things that we want to get going here and try to give away some money. All right. You're going to stay on for trying to give away the money? All right, good. As a reminder, everybody, we got our PI conference coming up in 3 short weeks. Even less than that, really, June 21st. Please join us for that. If you are a new graduate and you're wanting one of the free scholarships, we do have a form available for that. We're going to try to raffle off some of those right now. If Tiffany's ready for that, we can, we'll give everybody just a minute to scan that if they haven't had a chance to scan that and put their name in. But as always, check out everything for the upcoming fall conference in August. And let's bring up the wheel and try to, I think we're going to spin for 6 names today. So 6 names to try to win 600. As always, to win the money, you have to be a member. You have to be on the broadcast. Your name has to be selected by the randomizer. And you have to say that you are here within 30 seconds of your name being drawn. So hopefully we'll get the randomizer up here in just a second. Here we go. We got the randomizer up. And let's do our first name. Maybe. We'll see. Please hold. Please hold. See if it will spin. Well, I really appreciate, like I said, the fact that you have delved into all of this content. I've been a fan of Patrick's work since one of my colleagues turned me on to the ideal team player. That's what it is. Ideal team player.
Yeah, that's a great.
So that's one of those. That has been a great book in terms of I just have felt like that's always helped me in terms of finding people out there that are best to work with our organization and that kind of thing. So have you delved into that book a little bit?
We use that book too when we meet with a team. For those of you that don't know it, it's basically the ideal team player. Someone that is hungry, humble, and smart with people.
Yes.
And these are great characteristics you'd want for anyone on your team. He does a great job of talking about why those are so important.
I do love that concept, and I constantly search for that whenever I'm hiring in my own business and whenever I've been, trying to help other people even find team players or new practitioners. I would say that, I don't know how familiar you are with the chiropractic culture and that kind of thing, but, within the chiropractic culture, that's something that has become very prevalent, people wanting to utilize associates to help manage and run their practice. So, all right, I got the notification from Tiffany that we're ready, so let's bring up the wheel again. Donovan, you have 30 seconds to come and claim your money. I think we have to take down that fall conference QR code because that will help us see the timer. Because there we go, we can't see the timer. Dade Donovan, you have 13 seconds to come and claim your money. I don't know Dade, but if somebody can get a hold of Dade, tell him that he's got 5 seconds to come and claim the money. This is where we'll see like people logging on and that kind of thing. But I know people are going to want to try to come in here and or rewatch this on YouTube or Facebook and all of our different channels because once they hear about the content that you're putting out, I'm sure that they're going to want to listen again and figure out how they connect with you. So, cool. All right, I don't see Dade, so let's do name number 2. Erica Joanne Dayrit, you have 30 seconds to come and claim your prize. Oh, gosh. Oh, somebody was saying hurry, Dade, but I don't think Dade made it in time. We have like some kind – I got to figure out how to handle the delay on the chat versus the timer and that kind of thing because I don't want to say somebody's not here. We've had a couple of like buzzer beaters kind of thing. Oh, my buddy Rich is here. I saw Rich was here. My buddy Art's here. I got lots of friends here in the chat today, so I appreciate everybody being on. And Art is a new practitioner, so hopefully Art will win that PI conference. It doesn't look like I see Erica here today, so that was name number 2. Let's do name number 3. Heidi Olson, you are name number 3. You have 30 seconds to come and claim your prize. I think that's Marissa, the Chiro Pug, who's helping me keep track of how many times we've spun the wheel. But that is something that I always appreciate it when my friends come out to hang out with us, and we're going to try to give away some scholarships to the PI conference. Oh, I was thinking I wanted to mention something to you. I love this. I saw this comment up here in the chat earlier about kindness opens up people for the truth. That was such a cool comment, and that was brought to us by Christina Danskin, who I think is someone you know, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll let you. We've got Deline Bilvosic. Deline Bilvosic. I had to work on that one right there. That was awesome. Deline Bilvosic, you are name number 4, I believe. Yes, that was name number 4. You have 15 seconds, it looks like, to come and claim your prize. Oh man, everybody's starting to get excited now. We're getting down when the prize pool really goes up to. We've given away $900 one time. I think over maybe 1,100 one time. Starts to the intensity goes up. That was name number 4, Deline. We'll just wait another second or two before we do name number 5. When you're ready, Tiffany, name number 5. Richie Morales. Richie's one of my students. Just graduated, new practitioner. I think I hit him up to see if he wanted to come on board and win the. Oh my gosh, Richie! Somebody reach out to Richie. Somebody's got. Who knows Richie on this thread here? I'm trying to. I know Joe Ibe's on here. He knows Richie. Joe, thanks for being on here, buddy. I appreciate it all the time, and I appreciate all your support with the Life West Alumni Association. If you're a Life West alumni, hit me up and we'll get you connected with our group. Because oh man, Richie could have used the money. I know that. He just graduated. Oh, not Rich Doss, so close. But Richie Morales was name number 5. Doesn't look like Richie's here, so let's do name number 6. This is for $600. Otherwise, you gotta do name. He's name number 6. You have 30 seconds. Yeah, if we don't have a winner, we'll have $700 up for grabs next week. In addition to that, I want to let you guys know I'll be doing a couple of special podcasts next week on Tuesday at 1 as well. If you want to tune in and learn more about personal injury stuff, I have a special guest coming to join us. So leading up to our PI conference, I wanted to make sure I brought you as much PI content as possible. Dale, you were named number 6, but I don't see Dale in the chat. So we have one other drawing that we're going to do here today for some scholarships for the PI conference. It feels like every month all these broadcasts kind of lead up to this special theme, so that Rich says 700 is his lucky number. Yes, the lucky 700 club. So I'll give Tiffany a chance to get the wheel up and set up for all of our new practitioners. I think we're going to spin either 6 or 7 times today. So this is for new practitioners who added their name to the form to win the PI for All conference attendance. So let's do it, Tiffany, and we'll see if we've got some new practitioners. And Dianara Thompson. I don't think Dianara is here today because she texted me earlier telling me about a family obligation that came up for the weekend of the PI for All conference. So that means somebody else is going to possibly win her scholarship. Yvonne Hua, or Yvonne Wah. Are you here? Yvonne Wah, you have 30 seconds. I think I saw Yvonne here earlier. I saw Ginger too, but was Yvonne on the broadcast? I saw her earlier. Yes, I saw Yvonne on the broadcast earlier. Let's give Yvonne time to respond in the chat so she can come and claim her prize. Oh, there I see it, Yvonne. Hopefully I pronounced your name. Congratulations, Yvonne. We have a winner for one of the scholarships. All right. Do we have so let's do at least a couple of more here, Tiffany. Let's do a couple. Kasputis, that's another one of my students. All right. I love it when all my students are. Rebecca's been in practice now a few years. Hopefully Rebecca's on with us here on the broadcast today. And I didn't see her chime in on the chat earlier, but let's see. Joe, you got to know Rebecca too. Let's hopefully Rebecca will be here on the broadcast today to come and claim her prize. Oh, that was congratulations to Yvonne. Yes, congratulations. And there is Dr. Becca. Dr. Becca, excuse me. Congratulations, Dr. Becca. You are our second winner. All right, we're on a roll now. Now we're giving stuff away. People are making money right now. All right, let's do name number 3. Oh, all my students are People are going to think this is fixed. All my students are winning. So, but I did reach out to a lot of my students. So on behalf of my, that's probably part of it right there. Ginger, I think I saw you in the chat earlier. Hopefully you're here to claim your prize today. Let's see. Am I missing the chat's going crazy here? Somebody responded. I got to close down the chat and start over again. Let me see what's happening. Did Ginger respond? I'll give it another yes. Well, Art was saying something. Yay, Ginger. And Marissa's telling me Ginger is here. Maybe she's just having a challenge responding in the chat. We'll give her another 5 seconds or so here. Oh, there we go. We got, like I said, I'm on a delay. So we're on a roll now. We're on a roll. We've got, I think that was 3 winners. Okay, good. 3 winners. Great. All right. Let's do name number 4. Ariana Marco, are you with us today to come and claim your prize? Let's see if Ariana Marco is here. We've got a lot of things going on. We got things going on in the private chat over here. There's pandemonium going on inside the chat, outside the chat. Let's see if we have another winner. We'll give it another 3 seconds. I see Robbie Butler in here. Hopefully Ariana Marco is here. If anybody knows Ariana, let her know. Okay, there we go. Ariana, we've got winner number 4. Let's do one more name today. Let's do one more name. Hopefully we'll... Sun Jing. Sun Jing. If you're here, come and collect your prize. Hopefully Sun is here and he can come and collect his prize. We'll give him, now he's down to 18 seconds. Hopefully Sun is here and he'll be able to claim his prize. If not, we'll be back next week to give away some more scholarships. Art, we got to get your name in there, buddy, if you want a chance to come to the conference. And let's see, did we get a response from Sun Zhang? Oh, Dr. Basista is saying that Sun is here. We'll just wait a few more seconds. But thanks so much again, Matt, for being on the broadcast. Absolutely. I really appreciate it.
I want to join so I can get the chance to win money. How do I do that?
Yeah, all you got to do is become a member. We have affiliate memberships and that kind of thing. So, I'll put you together with Tiffany, and Tiffany can get you lined up. And like I said, I feel like you got a lot more content to offer and a lot more. We got a lot more to learn from you. So thanks again for being on here. Reminder, next week we'll be trying to give away $700, and we'll have some more scholarships for the PI conference next week. So thanks, everyone.